were happy because they all got to meet him, which is just divine. It's one of the greatest things about the job, is to see the kids' faces when they meet their heroes like that. And the exercise was incredibly successful.
Yep.
I got paid. Everybody was happy.
Yep. So in terms of smaller businesses looking to get PR, what are some of the tricks that, I guess, you're great at spreading rumours, we hear.
Yeah, I'm great at spreading rumours.
What are some of the tricks that smaller business owners can apply to their business?
Right. Well, you've got to... I thought what you said about everybody has a story. Look, we've all got stories to tell, and that beautiful man, John Ilian, who died yesterday, there was a man who had a great story. I mean, there's a man who, God, extraordinary man, generous of spirit, loving, caring man, wonderful to his staff. It's those things that made him, who he is.
Yeah.
And Richard Branson's the same on a different level, but I thought he was a wonderful example, John Ilian, because he was a very simple man who lived in a tin shed, and the lady who used to make his coffee was on telly today, on the radio today, talking about what a lovely man he was. And she said, you're so lucky. And he said, look, I've got my kids, I've got my wife. If I had to go back living in a tin shed, I'd go back, and that's the sort of man he was. So I think it'd be great to take a leaf out of his book. He had a very simple story, and it was quite a sad story. I mean, he came from nothing. Changed his name. Talk about branding.
Yep.
Crazy John, brilliant. So it took a very simple thing and a huge risk and became incredibly successful. So I think you have to just look at everything you've got. Kelly, you've got a beautiful face. We were talking about your chocolate and so forth. We were talking about it. Everybody's got something special.
So we need to look at our own.
So you have to look at your own.
Traits.
Yeah, look at your own personality. Look at how.
We don't all look like Tara Moss.
No. Yeah, but I suppose. Yeah.
That's where you meant to compliment me.
But it is interesting. I mean, even people like James Blunt. I sort of thought he was. I mean, I don't think he's a very extraordinary looking man, but what an incredibly generous man. Michael Bublé is very nice looking, but very generous of spirit. All these people have got great generousness of spirit, and they're very authentic. So, and I really think you just need to be extremely authentic, and connect with people. And like, if I hadn't have gone up to Tara and said, "Hi, I'm Di Roll, and I want to be your publicist," I could have just left her alone and gone on and got another taxi, and I would never have had the most amazing times that I had with her.
Mm.
Why did you approach her and say, I want to be your publicist? What was it about that intrigued you?
Because there was an opportunity. That was my opportunity. And we have those opportunities every day. That's why being around the Dalai Lama I really believe that we are faced with opportunities every day. Like even tonight, just meeting the girls, we've never met before, and we just had the most wonderful time together before we came in here, and wonderful opportunity. So it was just opportunity, and I had the choice whether I go and get a taxi and go home and go, oh, that was nice seeing Tara Moss, or just going and grabbing it, taking it.
And a lot of business owners we're presented with opportunities on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And because our little voice inside our head says, oh, she won't want to speak to me, although I didn't have that little voice that day. But, we think, oh, I'm not going to go up to her because she'll think I'm stupid, or I'm not going to go and do that. But I've done that many times.
Yep.
Just really gone for it, and I wanted to get, I suppose it's sort of being the bolshy publicist I am. I'm very bolshy, and I wanted a shot of Tara with Pamela Anderson when Pamela Anderson was out here. So I had to go through, countless minders, and I just went, Pamela, and she didn't know who I was. I was like, Pamela, Tara Moss, big star here, huge name, photo, you two together, 2 seconds. And every photographer went nuts, and I got the photo. And it went all over the world. That's what I wanted.
So
you have to be
that snap decision, you're working on
absolutely.
Snap decision, the opportunity, take it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter that minders are going, who's she? Get her out of here, and whatever. It doesn't matter. You're doing your job, you've got to do the job, you've got to get the job done, you've got to get the result.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We'll pass it back to you, Sally. So, Sally, you focus on small business and getting PR. What are some of, the key points that small business owners need to do? Because a lot of us don't have a huge budget, let's face it.
Yeah, look, it's interesting what Di said about the story, because one thing that journalists are interested in terms of small business is in fact the story behind your business. Like, what drove you to realise the gap in the market, or was it personal circumstance? Like, so many mums now with babies at home are thinking, oh, well, I couldn't find nice clothes, or, that drove them and inspired them. So your first story perhaps is the impetus behind your business. And I'll tell you, one person who is always very interested in those stories is Claire Heaney, who's the editor of Business Owner at Herald Sun. You will notice if you read those articles of a Thursday, they are always about the person who started the business and the journey they took and some of the lessons they have learned and the successes they've made from that. That can then often be syndicated with Sydney and can go to Brisbane too, more often with Sydney. So that is something that's really important. Look, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm trying madly to...
Do you spread rumours too?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Small business is not quite as sexy as Mick Jagger, damn it.
How do we make small business sexy?
You don't have to make small business sexy. Small business. The thing, a few tricks. Okay. When you're writing your release, so what you should do is actually prepare some written information for the media. You really have to get the guts of your story into one paragraph, because I tell you, editors will not read past it if they're not interested. So don't start off by saying, oh, look, I started my business back in 1996 and since then, we have enjoyed growth. Not going to happen. You want to find something that is really a little bit edgy or different. You've got to... Part of the difficulty is, and I'm sure the girls will agree, and that is coming up with the angles, because at least then you've got something you can write about. A couple of other tricks: always include a photograph, because if the media has got a really good photo, dramatically increases the likelihood of your story being published, because photos in magazines, newspapers, etc., dramatically increase readership of that article. So if they can get a good photo, they're going to increase the readership of the article immediately. What are some of my other tricks? Madly thinking, I'm here on the spot. Look, I think it's really about... The other thing I say to clients too is to be newsworthy, you have to think of new things. Like, you just can't be mundane, and you can't just do what other people are doing and expect you to be interesting. Like the fact that you open a factory, your local paper's not going to cover that, because there are a lot of other people that open factories in the area too. But if you can think of some way you're benefiting the community, the local community, then you've got a story for the local paper. So you have to think about, what is it that I do that's a little bit different, and that is how you'll get media.
So where do we get the inspiration from? Do we take a bottle of red wine and...
You can. It's most enjoyable that way, I find. You're a business person. You have started this business. You're an entrepreneur, and you have to do that with your marketing too. Now, the other thing that I do in terms of publicity is with media now, we're not so reliant on the traditional media. And look, it's like you can see us three sitting up here and but you get stories in the media all the time. It's still a difficult slog, okay, because they are inundated every day with countless approaches from people like us and from businesses as well. So it really is a very difficult slog all the time. So there are many, many other opportunities that you guys need to think about. Couple is, okay, what I talk about true publicity, which is an acronym for traditional media, reference channels, unique media, and e-publishing. So I want you to think about, what are the reference channels that are specific to your industry? Who are the opinion leaders that perhaps you can leverage off, that you can do a strategic alliance with, that is going to give your business immediate credibility, and perhaps they even have a newsletter that you can get a little bit of a story in their newsletter. Think about who else is out there that's already serving my target market. Maybe it's a supplier, like a non-competitive supplier. What is it that I can work with them to get myself in front of my target market? Because to me, publicity is not just getting coverage, it is about getting yourself in front of your target market. The other thing is unique media. Now, I hope all of you have a website, because if you're serious business people, you will have a website. It is an absolute must, because that is where a lot of your traffic will be driven from.
So, and I'm assuming the journalists will go straight to the website to do research.
Well, there's another clever trick you can do with your own. I don't want to hog.
Okay.
There is another clever trick you can do with your own website. For one, you can drive traffic. So there are most people will do research on the internet before they do any kind of purchasing, whether it's for spectacles or a watch or a doctor, what have you. Most people now do internet research. What you can do, here's a little trick that I do, and that is you have a media room, because every person will go into your media room. Because it's like having a little bit of a look behind the scenes. So what you do is, if you are being media active, you can actually put your media releases there that you have written for your media. Now, for God's sake, don't PDF them, because search engines cannot get into your PDFs. They must be like your raw text, because then you're adding content to your site, so the search engines think this is a serious site. Here's a new trick. I don't want to tell these girls because I don't want them to steal it. Lock your ears, girls. The other thing is a whole new game, and that is direct-to-consumer releases. So what that means is you're no longer reliant on somebody else's editorial say-so. Like you're not going to get cut off by an editor, because you have full editorial control. So you might have just sold your 1,000th product, for example. No newspaper's going to run that. No current affairs going to give that a go. But you can write a little news release and you can pop it on your site in your media room where interested customers are going to go.
Fantastic.
Guess what you've just done? Just created incredible credibility. You're increasing your traffic. You've covered a whole range of issues that I hope you're not listening. So you have you've covered off a few areas all at once. And if the media then are visiting your website, then they have actually other information to go on. So it's all about credibility. Last one is e-publishing. That is, we love the internet. There's so much stuff on it. So have a look at what's already around and jump on to other people's resources. So there's forums, there's blogs you can comment on. Well, you know, I'm a blog girl, I love blogs. And so there might be online magazines, there might be a professional association already has a website that you can contribute to. So there are many. How much does it cost if you're doing it yourself? Completely free. Fantastic.
Fantastic. We've got a question, Stephanie.
What are the advantages for small and medium business to engage with the PR agency?
Look, to do anything you have to spend either time or you have to spend money. So I find often it's a matter of focus too, and that is you're so busy doing the do of the business that you then don't get the opportunity to do your publicity. The other thing about engaging a publicist, like I say, I'm kind of like an information packager, because I know how to package the information, and that's part of the secret too. Look, personal relationships in the media are fantastic, and there are people that we could call immediately, but you don't have to know a journalist to send them information and get coverage. Simply, it's the way you package the information and make it gutsy enough that they think, wow, this is a bit interesting.
So how do we approach journalists? Did you...
I just wanted to comment, but I thought you were referring... I hope you all wrote Claire Heaney's name down. I saw you write. I thought that was fantastic. That is like a pearl of wisdom tonight. If each one of you people approach Claire Heaney...
Don't tell her.
But don't tell her about this, no. But she's a fabulous journalist, and she's so supportive of small businesses. And I would say I've never had a knockback from her ever. Because I do small business too. There are other things that I do, and she just loves it. And if you read her column, you'll see her email address. You'll always see the journalist. Yeah. Yeah, at Herald Sun. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And she's very good. She always follows up. So if she likes the story, she's really fantastic. So I just wanted to really clarify that. I thought that was great when you said that. That's your first start. She'll get inundated tomorrow.
Monica, in terms of what is the personal brand worth to the business overall in terms of sales?
The personal brand.
Yep.
Yeah. When it comes to sales and PR, it's very important to understand that the major benefit that businesses get from PR is raised brand profile and increased credibility. So depending on what your business is, you may not get inundated with calls straight away.
Yep.
We find whenever we've worked with a product-based business and we've placed, a beautiful product in Good Living or Home Beautiful or whatever it might be, they may sell out of the product, within 3 days, because they have a stockist number in there, everyone loves the product, they ring up, where can I buy it? Flies out the door. But when you're dealing with services, it does take a lot longer to get that follow through. So with PR, it's important not to see it as just a bottom line activity. It's part of your marketing tools to get sales happening. So what you tend to find, particularly if you're doing consistent publicity well, is that people will start to see you over and over again. They'll get on a flight, see an article in Virgin, then they'll open Herald Sun, see Claire Healy's done a story about you, and then Financial Review, Damien Lynch, who writes for small businesses, there might have done a story, and you'll get friends and relatives and clients, hopefully, calling you saying, what are you doing? I'm seeing you everywhere. You really must be doing something right. And that's where your sales will start to tick through. So I know there are a lot of service-based businesses here, and that's quite important to remember. There's no point employing a PR agency and saying, we want to triple our turnover, I want you to do it in a month. Here's, a few $100, go for it. It just doesn't work like that. It's a long-term marketing tool where you've got to be patient, and then you've got to make sure that your team or yourself or whoever it is who is then doing the sales really does their job well, so that all these leads that do eventually come in over time get converted.
And in terms of attracting publicity, do we need to be doing publicity stunts?
No, you don't. I mean, I've operated WordStorm for 7 years now, and we've probably done 6 stunts in our whole 7 years.
I looked at your website. You did a Krispy Kreme donut.
Yeah. Well,
that attracted my attention straight away.
One of our clients is the Coogee Bay Hotel, and so I don't know if you know it, that's in Sydney. And they were celebrating their 135th birthday. So what we did was, in order to try and attract some media coverage, we organised with Krispy Kremes to build the biggest Krispy Kreme cake that's ever been built. So they delivered over 1,000 Krispy Kremes on Monday, which was a long weekend for some unknown reason. I can't remember now. And we basically built the cake and got the media there, got radio interviews, that sort of thing, and then had a big, ceremony out in the beer garden with sparklers and gave everyone Krispy Kreme. So that was really great. Another really effective media stunt we've done was, one of our clients was UGG Australia, the UGG boots. Now, whenever we look at doing a stunt, we don't want to look at a lot of money. We think, how can we do a simple, clever, effective media stunt for as least the smallest budget possible? So what we did was we hired about 6 promo people. The message we wanted to get out there was UGG boots are for everyone. It's not just for the beach. It's not just for, around the house. It's not just for surfies. It's for everyone. So we got a woman in a bikini. We got a guy in a pair of pajamas. We got a guy in a suit. We had a surfy dude there. We had a girl in a beautiful dress. And then we found Yvette Duncan, who was at the time she was a host for MTV and trying to be an up-and-coming. She probably needed you because people might not have heard of her. But at the time she wanted a bit of publicity, so she was happy to do that for free. And we got all these promo people to walk up and down Pitt Street Mall in Sydney in their Ugg boots and these unusual outfits, carrying a big paper bag with the Ugg Australia brand on it. And then we invited the paparazzi to come and take photos. So paparazzi came and took all these photos. It was on page 2 of the Daily Telegraph the next day. And the whole thing cost Ugg Australia about $1,500.
Fantastic.
So, but you do not need to do those things. I mean, you can if your business, you know, has that kind of capacity.
At least that price point is in the realm of a lot of smaller business owners that don't have the
I mean, you
budget.
hire promo people, they cost a few hundred. Then you want a photographer, but you don't have to